Hello, and welcome to the con-j.b podcast. This is episode number 4. So, I thought I would talk about my day. Not really my day, but kind of what I thought about today, which is college. It's what I did today. I went to class bright and early at 7 a.m. Well, I arrived at 7 a.m., but I had an 8 a.m. class. Before I get started, I just want to say it was really, really cold. Like, dude, it went from 70 degrees to 50 degrees to 30 degrees. 30 degrees, and I live in the South. Okay. So, where I live in Louisiana. The weather fluctuates like crazy. Okay. I layered up. I wore a t-shirt, a sweater, a button down flannel, and a jean jacket. And I was still cold. Sometimes I wonder how people live in places like up north and the Midwest and Canada. Oh gosh. No, I couldn't. I love summer. I have the January blues, okay? I don't know if anybody else experiences this, but every year around January, February, I I don't know, I just start feeling down, like it's not warm outside, but it's cold and we're not looking forward to anything. Like in December, we have Christmas. Everyone's excited, everyone's full of spirit, the holiday spirit. But around this time of the year, it's like we're just waiting for summer at this point. We're waiting for summer. And if you're from where I'm from, Louisiana, you have Mardi Gras to look forward to. So that's always fun, but it's not as hyped up as Christmas. And I'm not really big on Mardi Gras because every year it's always cold on Mardi Gras, okay? And they throw beads at you as hard as they can, apparently. And your little cold fingers can't take it. Okay? Someone throwing plastic beads at you like a baseball, like a fastball, and they hit your cold hands. So you need to wear gloves. If you ever do Mardi Gras, wear gloves or mittens. Okay, maybe mittens because they offer more padding. Definitely do that. I have many bad experiences with Mardi Gras. I remember one Mardi Gras, someone threw their beer at me. And at first I was like, okay, so this asshole. But no, apparently it was an accident because the float had stopped. If you've ever seen Mardi Gras, the floats, drive by and they throw their beads. Well, sometimes they stop. Sometimes, I don't know, they stop and throw, whatever. Well, this float had stopped and he threw his beer and he looked at me. I guess he just realized I was a kid. I don't know. I was a kid at the time. But he was very apologetic. And I was cold and I smelled like beer and I had cold beer on me. And I was like, no, these are adults, okay? These are adults. These aren't kids. These aren't college kids. These are people in their 40s and their 50s. These are my neighbors. These are, people you see in town and they're drunk AF, like really drunk. So it's kind of weird. I don't know if other people experience that in other states, public drinking. And it's funny. Well, I don't want to give away our secrets because it's a lot of fun. But I'm just going to say everybody drinks at Mardi Gras, okay? Boom. Just nailed the mic with my fist on accident. Anyway, so college. Going back to the topic of college. I have a love-hate relationship with college, okay? And the thing about it is it's not bad. It could be a lot better. The problem with college is flat out the cost. Okay, so you have to pay tuition. You have to pay for parking. But not only that, you have to, and they'll give you a list on your syllabus, your professors. They'll tell you what textbooks you need. They'll tell you what computer programs you need. And sometimes they get carried away and they add multiple things to that syllabus. And then later in the semester, they'll say, you need this book, which you will never read, by the way. Like sometimes it'll be a novel, something as simple as a novel. You can get a novel on Amazon, used paperback for like $10, maybe less if you're lucky. But they won't read the whole novel. They'll take little bits and pieces out of the novel and they'll use it for a lesson. You know, kind of like in church. Okay, you go to church, you take out your Bible, and they'll read like a few verses, whatever, if you go to church. That's what it's like, you know. It's we're going to read this passage and then we're going to talk about it. We're going to have a lesson out of it, you know. So it's like, why do I need to buy the book? Just take a photocopy of the material, or I don't know if they can legally do that. I know there's copyright protection and all that. But why don't you just put it like take the book, put it on a projector and just I don't know, let us take pictures of it with our phones, you know? Don't give us the wink and be like, "Hey, you can't take pictures of this, but wink wink, you need to know this." So either write it down or get this somehow else, you know? Anyway, so you have that, spying random things. But then you take a writing class and they'll tell you that you need a textbook, okay? Which you will not use. I don't think I've ever used a textbook in college. Okay, you'll have to get this textbook. And they will probably do like 1 to 3 lessons out of that textbook. I mean, it could just be the majors I've done. I've done music and now I'm in mass communication. But every year we never do anything out of the textbook. I have only had one class where we used the book, and that was one of my music theory classes, okay? Which by the way, I felt like I didn't need to take because I kind of knew it. It was like a basic theory class. It wasn't like advanced or anything. And I had taught myself basic theory. You know, I'd researched it on my own before in high school. But we wrote the notes on the treble clef and the bass clef, and they had exercises and they used examples for songs, you know, like here's a Michael Jackson song, here's Thriller, here's the time signature, here's the key, you know, figure out what it is, whatever. So anyway, that's a class you would need it for because you want to write it down, whatever. But you know what's funny? He ended up giving us work that was out of the textbook for homework, so ridiculous. Ridiculous. That textbook, we actually used it. But there were other classes, like I had a guitar class. And in the guitar class, we had to get, and this is a cheap book. So I'm using another bad example, but this is a cheap book. It's about $15, which in college that is cheap. And you know, it had songs for us to perform, sheet music, okay? Why couldn't the professor just take the sheet music and put it on the projector, you know? First of all, keeping that book open on the what is it, sheet music stand. I don't know if they have a name, but those stands that hold sheet music, you see them in like choir and stuff like that. It was so hard keeping that book open. So sometimes I would just write it down and just put the paper on the music stand. It was easier to look at the music that way. Or the best way would be with an iPad because that's always flat. That's not going to close on you. But then you have the risk of it falling and cracking, whatever. Anyway. Why can't they just put the material on the board? Why do you have to buy it? Okay, you're already paying for freaking tuition, okay? A lot of people can't afford college, okay? I have to buy a book that teaches me how to write and another book that teaches me how to write, but it's written from a professor at my college. And then I have to get like some other textbook, of course. But for one class, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, okay? And a lot of it just feels outdated, it just feels old. But I guess this is how they make money. But the point that I'm getting at is you pay for parking, you pay for textbooks, you pay for all of this, and then they throw programs at you. You need this program depending on your major. My major requires computer programs. I'm not in computers or anything, but we had to use software that edits audio and video, whatever. So you need to buy that software on top of all that. And then it's not even the software you want to use. Like I love my software at home, okay? I love it. You're probably listening to this and you're like, "Well, it could be better. The audio quality could be better." I get it. But I love my software. And now I have to learn a whole new program. I have to learn a whole new program. I'm so happy that I've gotten familiar with the Adobe suite though, the Creative Cloud, because if you're in college, you're using Adobe, okay? And Adobe, it's the best. There are better options, but it's the best. There are better options, but it's the best, I say. Um, I've gotten used to a lot of Apple software. Like I use the Logic Pro. I love Logic Pro. I love it. There's plugins built in. It's just easy right out of the box. Like at first it feels like GarageBand, but then you start seeing like little things here and there that you cannot get on GarageBand. It's just so easy to work. But I have to learn new software, which is fine. It's fine. I'll get it eventually. But I have to do my projects on that software. And I've already gotten familiar with the software. I love the software, but whatever. Anyway, so I have to buy software. And the thing is, you spend all this money and then you do something stupid like me and you change your major. I went for music, business, and then I moved to mass communication because my dumb younger brain was like, I'm going to be a music producer, which is great. It's a great job if you can get it. Okay. But I was telling a friend this because he wants to be a music producer. For every like 20 artists, there's one producer. Think about it. Okay. There are more artists than there are producers. Because a lot of artists are using the same producers, right? Makes sense? Makes sense? Okay. So I'm like, you know what? I don't want to promote shows for the rest of my life. I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be an agent. I don't want to do any of that. I have bigger dreams, which there's nothing wrong with doing any of that. If you do that job, cool. But that's not what I wanted to do. I don't want to do management music. Okay. I would probably be awful at it. But so now I moved to mass communication because there's a long pause there. There's always that long pause when you talk about what you want to do and you're like, why do I want to do this? You know why you want to do it. But it's hard to put into words. But I chose mass communication because I'm like, first of all, I'm more likely to get a job with this degree if I don't go into broadcasting. Like say a local station doesn't want to hire me. One, they're always hiring. There are a ton of turnover rates at local media stations. Trust me, I see it. There's a high turnover rate at these places, radio, TV, what have you. But if that doesn't work out, or let's just say I hate the environment, which I don't think I would because I love video and audio and all that crap because I'm a stupid geek. But anyway, with that degree, I could go possibly into marketing. I could do public relations, which is PR. I could go into advertisement. I could simply go into business. You know, you don't necessarily need a business degree to go into business. But excuse me. But I guess the point is, if you're going into college, be prepared to get hit from all sides. You might change your mind. You might not like what you do. You might want to change your major. You got to put a lot of money into one major, then you might have to start over. What I did, so I didn't have to start over, is I made music my minor. So I have those credits, but I'm able to do this major and not start over as a freshman, which is awesome because I would probably not want to start over as a freshman. I would go insane. But my point is, be prepared. Be prepared to spend a lot of money that you don't want to spend, okay, on those textbooks, because that's how they're making their money. A lot of those professors write those textbooks and they're going to pretend you need them, but you're not going to, okay? We never used our textbooks. Now, I know a lot of English majors that use a lot of their texts because it's in a book, you got to read, duh, right? But a lot of your other majors, a lot of like engineering students I know do their stuff on the computer. You know, like they'll learn to code like in Python or something, and they'll have to do a class on that. I don't know. The reason why I was thinking about this, or kind of ranting about this, I should say, is because in my creative writing class, which by the way, I love writing classes. They're so relaxing. Creative writing is very nice. But we haven't started yet, but just the idea of it sounds nice. But we had to do a little 10-minute exercise and we had to write about anything. The first thing that came to our, little noggins. So the first thing that came to my noggin was how cold it was. I was like, this isn't a really deep topic to write about, but I'm cold. Okay, so I'm going to write about being cold. So I wrote about being cold, and she said, "Don't let your pen stop. Keep that pen moving. I don't want to see it stop." So I'm like, okay, I'm not going to let my pen stop. And I just was writing and writing and writing. And then I looked at the page and I had written something along the lines of, "Is it worth it? Is it worth it to drive 30 minutes to class? I get ready I wake up at 6. I leave the house at 7. I get there at 8. Or no, I'm sorry. I leave the house at 6. I wake up at 5. I wake up at 5. I leave the house at 7. Anyway, doesn't matter. I wake up early. Okay, it doesn't matter. They're close enough. So you go there, you park in your $300 parking place. If you don't park there, you park and you take the bus. Or at least at our campus, you park at the stadium and then you take the bus, the shuttle. And then you get out and you walk 15 minutes to your class. And it's cold and no one's talking. No one's talking. What is up with people in college? They don't talk. They don't look up. They're looking down. They're looking at their feet. They got headphones, AirPods in. I mean, I'm guilty of AirPods too. But anyway, it's a lonely walk. It's a really lonely walk because no one is talking. 15 minutes to get there to class. Okay. And then you're like, was this worth it? Because I'm going to be in this class for an hour. I woke up at 5 a.m. for an 8 a.m. class that is going to last 1 hour because that's how I scheduled my classes. We had a few mix-ups, okay? They told us that we were going to have class on this day and that day, but they were like, nope, we're going to have a lab instead. So then they throw a lab on me and they're like, oh, by the way, you have to come here at 2 to 4 p.m. on this day. It's just fine. Whatever. It's not like people have jobs. Thanks for telling us after we signed up for the class. When it's too late to drop, it's not too late to drop, but you also want to make sure that you can get a position in another class, whatever. So you do all this work, and it's like, you gotta wonder if it's worth it, you know? Because if you don't finish school, what do? You get a job in retail? I mean, that's fine, I guess, but you become a manager, hopefully, if you stay with the company for like what, 5 years? A retail job that I used to work at. In order to be a manager, first you have to be a supervisor, and then you have to do that for a couple years. Then you have to wait for someone to get fired or someone to leave, and then someone else gets manager position because there's multiple supervisors. Look, if you want to be a career manager, that's tough. Okay. That's tough. I don't know if I could do that. You have to stay loyal to your company, and sometimes companies don't treat their employees very well. And you're treated like a child. That's one thing I hated about retail. In retail, if you have an office job, you have your desk and your computer, and you can just sit down and have your coffee in the morning. And I need those reports. Don't worry, boss. I get them to you by lunchtime. All right. All right. You know what? I need to go to the bathroom. I'm going to get up from my desk and I'm going to go to the bathroom. And you go back to your desk. In retail, you don't have that. In retail, they watch you because they're micromanaging you. And I just dropped my phone, but it's fine because I have carpet. They're micromanaging you. Okay. They're watching you like a hawk. I worked at a job for a week. And if any future employer is listening to this, I had a really great opportunity. So I stayed with them for a week. There were no hard feelings, okay? Whatever. We're human. Get over it. But I was on my phone because I was working a customer service position, okay? I was on my phone because it was dead. I had done all my duties. I was like, what do I do here? Like, I'm just standing here like a dog waiting for its master, like I'm a human being. Like, I have to go to the bathroom. I have things I got to check on. I got emails. I got important stuff. Yes, some things are more important than work. I'm sorry, but we have lives outside of our jobs. Okay. So I'm checking through my phone and I get a call into the office. I'm like, it's like my first week here and they're calling me into the office already. Damn, almost sucked that bad. I go into the office. Well, our owner, or not our owner, but general manager, he sits at home and he watches the live feed and he saw that you were playing on your phone. Okay. And I'm an adult. I was checking my phone. There were no customers in sight. My duties were done. Do you just want me to stand there like a good little boy? Is that what you want from me? Like, am I not allowed to check on things? Like, oh, so I don't have relationships outside of my job. I don't have obligations or side gigs that I do outside of work. I mean, I'm kind of over dramatizing that. I can't be in that environment, because these are people that, I hate to say this, some of my managers were great. One of them especially was great. I loved him. He was awesome. Awesome, awesome. But he's doing better things now. He couldn't take it either. He couldn't hack it. Neither could I. But, where was I going with this? Oh yeah, some of those people are miserable. And just like any job outside of retail, because I've worked more than retail, these managers, they're miserable. Their wives are yelling at them at home and they're pissed because they don't have the damn balls to stand up to them for themselves, So they take it out on their employees at work. Stupid. Like, look, I'm not your child. We're not related. I'm not your dog. Like, I'm sorry, but you make like a couple dollars more than me in an hour, okay? Like, you're not special because you're one rank above me or two ranks, depending. Sometimes there's a supervisor, sometimes it's a straight manager, but you're a rank above me, okay? You ain't. Okay? I'm just saying, I'm sorry. I'm probably not monetizing these podcasts anyway. So, I have some wiggle room to say some curse words. I try not to curse on this podcast, but anyway, the point is, and then they give you a hard time about the schedule. We need you to work this time and this time. Can you come in? Blah, blah, blah. Like, dude, first of all, I'm a student. No, I can't come in. I got to study. And if I don't do well in this test, I'm going to be stuck at this job. Okay. So I either do bad on this test and I work in this industry for the rest of my life, or I do well in the test and I get fired. I don't know. It's just stupid. I don't know. I just think corporations have no idea what they're putting their employees through. The micromanagement that goes on, the psychological warfare between managers and coworkers, and then you have the customers. On top of that, the customers that are completely rude and you're not allowed to talk back to them. I get it. No, be a professional and don't go off on customers. I get it. It's like, damn, sometimes you can't take it. You know? Sometimes it's like, I had this one guy come up to me and he probably shouldn't say this in public or in a public forum, whatever the internet, whatever the internet is. But I had a customer come up to me and he was angry. He's like, I need to get this. I think it was a GoPro. I'm going to pretend it was a GoPro. I don't know what it was. It was like, no, yeah, it was a GoPro. I ordered this GoPro. Okay, sir. First, I will need to see your ID. What do you need to see that for? Well, we just need to make sure that you're picking up, that you're the right person, that you're authorized to pick up this item. It prevents people from coming up here and taking other people's stuff. Whatever. It's fine. It's normal procedure. Like, chill, whatever. If you don't hand me your ID, I'm just going to assume that you're a crazy person and that you have like a record or something, like a sex offender, and you don't want me to see your damn ID. I don't care. Just show me your ID. I'm not looking that hard at it. So he gives me his ID. I put it under the little UV light. The UV light, our little IDs in my state will tell you if the ID is real or not. So I'll put it under the UV light. What are you doing that for? Well, it's just mandatory. I have to. My boss really likes it when we check to make sure these IDs are real. Well, you don't believe me? Sir, I don't know you. Well, I didn't say that, but in my head I'm thinking, sir, I don't know you. Okay? I'm just doing my job. I don't want to get fired. I'm being micromanaged here, okay? I'm trying. Thank you. So I hand him his ID back. And I'm like, I'm going to be nice. It's my job. My job is to be nice. You have a job. You do it right. That's what I tell myself. I look for his GoPro and I'm trying to be quick because you can tell he's pissed off. And I get it. I get it. He was in a pissed off mood. I don't want to make it worse. So I was trying to find his GoPro as fast as possible. Well, it wasn't there. And that's not my fault because I don't put the merchandise in the little pickup section, okay? So he's like, what's taking so long? I'm like, I'm sorry, sir. But it looks like it's not back here. It was an error. It must have been with our warehouse or something like that. Yeah, I apologize. I'm sorry. We'll get you your product. Okay, well, I'll go get it on the floor, or I'll go get somebody to get it for you. Look, I understand this is inconvenient. It's driving me crazy too. I'm not happy about it. I'm just as embarrassed. but I gotta get somebody to go get it. I can't leave my post. Sorry, bro. Sorry. So someone goes and gets it. And he looks at me and he goes, "Well, maybe it's under that UV light." And I looked at him and I had it. Okay. Look, I got promoted twice at this job. I was a good employee. Okay. I did my job. They liked me. We all have that one moment. And I looked at the guy and I should not have said this. But I said, "Sir, what is your problem? I'm trying my best here. Okay. Can you just please be patient?" "Excuse me, blah, 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 blah. Wow, I want to speak to your manager, blah, 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 blah." He was just like yelling at me. And you could tell this guy was like 6'4", bald, had muscles, probably like, I don't know, whatever he did for a living. Who knows? He was aggressive. It gave me weird vibes. It gave me really bad vibes that he was so aggressive. People should not be that aggressive. Anyway. So he's yelling at me. And I looked at him and I said, "Sir, calm down." And he's like, "Did you just tell me to calm down?" I said something I should not have said, and I apologize. I said, "Sir, calm the F down." That was it. Game over. I'm done for there. Done. He stopped yelling and he said, "I won." I was like, "What?" And he's like, "I won. I want to speak to your manager." And I was like, "Oh, damn it." So I called my manager. Manager was very understanding. And he was like, "Look, I've been in your situation before and I've done what you've done. I'm not going to fire you. You're a good worker and I like you. You're new to this job. You just started. For what happened, we think you handled it very well." He had a very good talk with me. He's like, "No hard feelings, okay? Just watch your language. Watch your language, okay?" So, I don't curse at people, okay? I don't. But in that situation, it's like, what do you do? You're like, I'm stressed too, buddy. I work at a job that pays me a little bit more than minimum wage, okay? Like, I had to be perfect to make this small amount of money, which goes back to the whole college thing. And just to get out of that damn industry, you need to have a degree. But not only do you need to have a degree, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, you need to do internships. Because I had a friend who has a degree, okay? He can't get a job with that degree because he has only worked in the restaurant industry. So he's kind of stuck there. He's like, "Look, I got this degree, but I can't work in this industry because all my experience is in restaurants, okay?" You gotta do internships. You gotta volunteer. You gotta put yourself out there. You gotta get experience somehow, or you won't get hired. So you'll end up working in the same industry that you're working in now. You'll just be in debt. And that's the American system, boys and girls. Woo! Awesome. It'll be okay. I promise. Hang in there. Hang in there. I'm going to cut it here because I kind of went on and on about nothing for like 30 minutes. But I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. If you're in college, just do those internships. Volunteer. Because sitting in the back of class, even making A's, it's not going to be good enough. You got to put in the extra work. Don't get stuck. Don't waste your time. Time is more precious than money. Time is more valuable than money. But you know what's funny? It doesn't exist. Time is just a human concept. And money is just a human measurement of wealth. Live your life and have fun. Peace out.